everybody. And
Hello.
Wow, I'm sorry. I spoke so loudly. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. How many times should I say it?
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello,
and
everybody.
Welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me. You look, I already told you look cute today, but I didn't see you put on a jacket.
Thank you.
This color combo.
Thank you.
Fire.
It's like what I had clean in the closet.
It's really nice.
Thank you.
I love this as a whole vibe for you.
I love it too.
Pink is so good on you. Sorry, I'm burping. Pink looks awful on me, but I like this color.
No, it's good in your hand.
My water bottle is like, are
they
my
can't
hands
see
pink?
because your leg is in the way.
Ayo. It's my fake hydro flask from Target. $20. I enjoy it.
I thought it was an actual hydro flask.
No, that's just expensive.
I know. I didn't know if you were feeling bougie.
No. Kind of. I bought myself some presents for Christmas, but other than that, I do that thing where I buy something for somebody and I'm like, this is cute. I'll just buy 2. I'll just
see. I bought something for someone and then I was like, you know what? I'm never gonna use this. I bought it for myself and I was like, I'm never gonna use it. And I was like, I know who would like this.
That's smart. That's nice. I bought Monts so many fucking Christmas gifts. So this is a bonus Meghan and Melisa episode. And I feel like we've said this before, but we love our guests.
Very much so.
We really only have
some
people
more
on.
than others.
Yeah. But we're at the point where we really only have people on that we really love, we know, and we think and we want your input. Sometimes is it just kind of better if it's just Melisa and I? If it's a guest that we're stretching to try and find new people or if someone can't come and all of that kind of stuff. We just want to know from you guys. I think you guys are here for the advice more than the guest most of the time. But we'd love to know because we like doing episodes with just us and we started doing it once a month. But would it be cool if we occasionally did it more than once a month?
Yeah. And so you guys know, we do, when you guys request people, we do reach out to them. And if you've requested them a lot, that means that we have reached out to them and
they've ignored us.
Yeah, they've ignored us or said no.
Yeah. So the people who've been on, I think we're pretty much not that we're out of ideas, but we love having repeat guests of the people who've been on who we know give great advice to, because we also don't want that to be at the expense of wonderful advice.
Right.
And also for a while we said that my prerequisite for people coming on the show is they would have to be comfortable enough to tell us how they lost their virginity. Which I've been necessarily interviewed everybody and asked, but we wanted to we want them to give good advice too. So more of the story, more us. Which I think is fine. More.
I say that because you said that in an episode before.
I said more. I said more is more.
The way that I just said it.
Oh. You remember so much about me.
Because I have to edit those shows too, so I hear it twice.
Fine, for sure. So sweet. Well, if you guys want to be on an upcoming episode, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. Whoop, whoop. So, should we get into the calls?
Yes, Megan, we should.
Woohoo.
Hey, Megan and Melisa and potential guests. I just want to say, first of all, I love your podcast. I've been listening since the first season, and I tried calling in about this earlier, but my phone died, awkwardly enough. But I have a bit of a situation I have gotten myself into with this guy I've been seeing. I've been seeing him for about 2 months, and on our first date, I told him a little bit of a white lie. I know it's really horrible, but we were having usual small talk like you do on first dates, and he asked me what year I graduated college, and I lied and told him the year I was supposed to graduate college. But in reality, I ended up having to withdraw my junior year due to personal reasons, and I just didn't want to get into all of that with him on the first date, especially since right now I can't really afford to go back to school and there's just a lot to explain. And if I'm being completely honest, I felt a little embarrassed about not having finished my degree, especially since he is super successful in his career. He's an engineer and he has not one, but he has 2 degrees. He has his bachelor's and his master's. And I just didn't want him thinking less of me. And I now know that sounds so stupid because here I am. I've been seeing this guy for 2 months and he doesn't know that I told this white lie. And I just don't know if I should tell him. I feel like I should, just because eventually everything comes out, like the truth will come out eventually. But I just don't want him to think that anything else has been a lie, and I don't want him to see me differently, if that makes sense. But yeah, if you could just give me some advice on how to go about this. I know that this was like really immature for me to do in the first place. And like I said, I feel really bad about it, but it's just been kind of like hanging over me and everything. But yeah, any advice is welcome. And it's okay if it's a little harsh, because I know this is horrible. And also my sign is a Libra. So thank you.
This is really not that bad.
I don't think so either. I mean, like,
as somebody who says that I graduated college the year that I was supposed to graduate college, I feel you.
Yeah, I don't think most degrees don't even matter. So yeah.
Like, I understand what she's saying though about like worried that he's going to be like it is one of those things that like in hindsight, like, yeah, why, like, there's no need to lie about it. I get, like, I also would have probably, you can feel like embarrassed in a way. And I also understand that, like, you don't want him to think that, like, you're lying about other shit.
Mm-hmm. But I don't, like, if it doesn't come up, then so what? That's how I feel about it. I know,
that's kind of where, because I was racking, as she was talking, I was, like, kind of racking my brain of, like, all of, like, the ways it could, like, ways that you, to address it. And part of me is just kind of, like, I think even if you don't necessarily even need to bring it up, and then if it comes up again, it's like, oh yeah, no, I mean, I didn't finish, but like, yeah, that was, and he'd be like, well, why'd you say that was the year that like you graduated? Unless the conversation, like, unless maybe the lie, if the lie had been a little bit more, you're like, oh yeah, and he's like, oh, so like, I don't know, do you mean like, if it felt like a little bit more of like a fully fledged lie, as opposed to just something that could be misconstrued in a way that you were like, oh no, yeah, I mean, that's just like what the year I was supposed to graduate, I actually didn't end up finishing. Yeah, I think that would be fine. But I think if you did lie about it, and if you've like kept it up in a way, then I would just level with him and be like, because you're early on enough in the relationship, I would just like, hey, this is so, and this is exactly what I'd say, like, hey, this is super dumb, and like, I don't even think I like need to say this, but like, I don't know why. I just like feel really bad about it. And I just want to say that like when we first started dating, when you would ask me like when I graduated college, I was pretty intimidated by the fact that you were like so highly educated and all this stuff. And like, I've always felt this kind of embarrassment over the fact that like, in all actuality, I never finished college, and I know that I should have just said that right off the bat. And now that I know you would never like judge me based on that. And that was like my own insecurity, and it was like a stupid thing to like white lie about. And it's just been like eating me up, and like I feel so dumb because I really like you, and I don't want to like, I don't know, I don't want to lie to you, and it just feels like a point, in hindsight, it feels like a really pointless lie. And I just like wanted to get that off my chest. And I think like he's not going to be like, whoa, like why would, like, I think it's very valid, and I get it, because I mean, at least for me, like I definitely felt, especially when I first moved out to LA, like I felt super like, if anyone like I was dating was like, oh, because I also didn't want to tell them what I did, and they're like, oh, like what'd you graduate school? And I'm always like, I know I'm a college dropout, like self-deprecating like that, but that's not to say that like that's how my way of dealing with the embarrassment of it. But I think it totally makes sense. Yeah. I
don't think it's a big deal.
But I do think if it's eating you up and you feel like some type of way, I would say something then. Because then I think you're probably going to end up sabotaging it anyway, because like you feel so weird and you feel like you're kind of not necessarily walking on eggshells, but you do feel like, ooh, I'm holding this thing in, because I don't think it is that big. But if it feels big, then it is big to you. And so you got to address it.
That's true. Yeah. And maybe explain why you dropped out. You said there was some things going on in your life, and because that might come up, you know, like those bigger things might come up,
and then it would
and
be
then
like,
you could be like,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and also it's always kind of good to get ahead of that sort of stuff, because if like, I don't know, someone else mentions something about like if you continue dating and like someone else mentions something about like, oh yeah, when she dropped out, and like, what?
That's true.
That I think it's just better to clear there, and it's also you don't sound like crazy or like weird, and I don't think he would assume that you're lying about other stuff, because people who lie usually aren't upfront about, hey, by the way, I said this one little white lie and it's eating me up inside. If someone said that to me, I'd be like, oh my God, wow, that's great. This person's super honest. Yeah. I don't think that they're lying about other stuff.
True. Yeah. And I think if he asked you like when you graduated, it was more of a way to gauge how old you were.
That's what I was going to say. I think that's exactly it. And I think that's probably why you responded that way too, is because it's like, oh no, like we're good. This is like a fine way to do it. Like, this is my age. This is kosher. But yeah, so let us know how it goes. And this really feels so much like me because I constantly say I graduated. I was like, yes, like when I graduated college. No, Megan, you never graduated college.
You can say when you finished college.
Yeah, but I usually reference it the same way that she did. Is like once all of my other friends graduated college. Yeah. So once my friends graduated college, I put on my friend's cap. I put on Cindy's cap and gown for a picture. Just like a
Did
fun
you
one.
walk too?
No, it also was like she's like 5'3",
so it was very short.
very tiny.
Is she 5'3"? We seemed about the same height.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'1".
Okay, she's probably 5'1".
Yeah.
I'm 19 years old. So basically, last summer, I was talking to this one guy, we'll call him Jason, and I asked him out, but he rejected me, which I was totally fine with. I was like, cool, that's fine, I'm over it. A couple months later, I went on a date with one of his friends. It's not like it was his best friend or anything. They were just like friends. They've been friends for a little while. So we hit off. He is now my current boyfriend. We've been together for a little over a year now. And my problem is that his friend, Jason, ever since my current boyfriend and I have been dating, he's always been rude to me, disrespectful, never include me in conversations. And even one night when I went to pick up my boyfriend from a concert that he was drunk at, he messaged me. He was also intoxicated, but basically he was like, what are you doing? You're ruining his fun. It bugs me that you and him started dating, blah, blah, blah. And I confronted him about it the next day when he was sober. And he was like, oh, never mind that. I was just drunk. It was stupid. I didn't mean it, blah, blah, blah. I was talking to way many other girls when you asked me out. But basically I could tell that his ego was hurt and he was very much butthurt. But I just didn't. I felt like not that he didn't have the right to be upset, but he's the one that rejected me for a reason. And I don't know, like him and his friend and I really hit it off. And obviously we worked out because we've been together for over a year. So basically a couple months ago, we all went to a concert, my boyfriend and I, him, and a couple of their other friends, but Jason's girlfriend wasn't there. They've been together for a while. She wasn't there. He was all over another girl and vice versa. She was over him. I told his girlfriend. They both did not like it, so they both blocked me. But then a couple weeks later, she followed me back after unblocking me on everything, and she tweeted out something that was like, it's better to be single than to be getting played. But a couple weeks later, they got back together. But basically, my problem is that my boyfriend has kind of never really stood up for me when I talked about his friend disrespecting me, and I just want to know how to go about that. And that's just my biggest problem. And if you could give me advice, that would be greatly appreciated. And also, if I'm overreacting about it, because it's his friend, not mine. I don't have to hang out with him, but also I would just like more respect from one of his friends, and also for my boyfriend to step up for me every once in a while. Thank you. Love your podcast. Bye.
Oh, my Lord.
What a dick.
What a fucking loser. That guy is such a fucking loser.
Yeah, because at first I was like, maybe he regrets rejecting you and sees how good that you are in a relationship with this other guy. And now he's secretly in love with you. But then you said all that other stuff. He just seems like an all over like asshole. Yeah,
he just seems like just a loser. I think there's some like weird things with like people who have I don't know. I understand being like in relation, like you can miss your friends when they get into new relationships and stuff, but there's something so immature about just like being a dick to their significant other, to their face. Like it also just like, it's a shitty friend move. Like he's putting your boyfriend in a really shit position. And I think that like, I totally understand you saying that you really want him to like stick up for you. I would also say that like your boyfriend might be I don't want to say he's like clueless, but there just might be a part of him that is like, he's in a rock and a hard place. Like, this is one of his good friends. It's not his best friend. This is one of his good friends, and this is his girlfriend. And sometimes, from personal experience with guys, they think that not doing anything is doing something.
Yeah.
And it's like, if he's not like joining in the conversation with his friend, he's not engaging it, he's just kind of ignoring it. It is an issue because he is letting it happen, but in his mind, it might not be like, oh, do you know what I mean? Like, it can just be like but I don't think he's necessarily seeing that. And there also might be a part of him that, like, it does feel a little weird because Jason did originally reject you, and that, like, oh, does she want his approval? Like, what? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That, like, he might be wary of the fact that, like, I get wanting people to, like, you want people not to be an ass and want them not to like you, but I wonder if your boyfriend does feel like you want him to be nice and like you because there might be residual feelings there, and that's why he's kind of, like, hesitant to, like, clear the air between you guys. Or maybe he doesn't really give a shit that much about Jason, and Jason is kind of just a dick, and he just has always been kind of a dick to everyone.
I'm thinking that Jason's just a dick to everybody.
I dated a guy who had specific friend who was just like a dick, and they were a dick to me, and it was one of those things that I was like, is something, and he's like, no, this is just literally how they were with everybody, and I finally realized it, and I was like, oh, it's not me.
It's not
There's
a
no
you thing.
And the reason why no one's sticking up for me is because no one's doing anything, because this is just who that person is.
Yeah. Was he a dick before he had rejected you? Like, what was his personality like before that?
And I think also if he's not that close with your boyfriend, that's probably because he's kind of always been a dick.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just how it is. And sometimes from, like, most of my guy friends are friends with people who kind of suck. And, like, they just kind of stay friends with that because it's like, they're just not super confrontational or super dramatic. It's just like, you kind of stay friends with people even if they're not awesome. And most girls I know are quicker to, like, will cut people out. They don't have as many, like, like, she kind of treats me like shit, but I deal with it sort of things. I think, like, I don't know. I would just say, like, I don't think you're being over dramatic at all, but I think, like, I would have a conversation with your boyfriend of been like, hey, FYI. Also, here's the thing. I don't think you need to want this guy to like you or to respect you or anything like that, because I don't think it's going to happen. I think you just need to tell your boyfriend of, like, I think you need to stop trying. And you tell your boyfriend, have been like, hey, like, he's a fucking dick, and, like, I'm gonna love with you. Like, I really care about you. I love dating you. I hate hanging around him. Like, he's not changing. He's still being an ass. He cheated on his last girl. Like, all of this stuff is, like, so extra and so dramatic. Like, if he's gonna hang around, like, I really don't want to be around. And, like, it does kind of suck, like, if you're hanging out with him and I know he's saying that shit about me, like, I just, like, think he's just kind of a shit guy.
And he's DMing you, like, and then he said, oh, I was DMing a bunch of other girls too.
That's so petty.
It's petty too, but then it's like, oh, so you were just being a dick to everybody.
Yeah. That's what it's. I just think if you like tell your boyfriend, just be like, I just don't like that guy. And I think you can't expect him to be nice to you, because I don't think he's a nice guy. Right. And I think if you do hang out with him, because here's the thing, it's either, like, don't spend time with him and tell your boyfriend, like, hey, I'm not cool with this, and FYI, like, it kind of sucks, and he might be able to feel that a little bit more, and then let him do what he's ever gonna do, and you know that your boyfriend cares about you and trusts him, and if he's gonna talk shit about you in front of your boyfriend, it's not gonna, if he's already doing that, it's clearly not affecting your relationship or how your boyfriend perceives you. So I wouldn't worry about that as much as that's annoying and sucky. Or the second that, for me personally, the second that I stop trying to get someone to like me, I can hang out with them and I'm totally fine. I don't give a shit. Like, because I'm also not, like, being like, or, like, trying to patch things over. Like,
they're just there. They exist.
100%. And I can just be me. I don't have to filter. I can just say whatever. And I've dated people who've had friends like that. And then I've just been like, you know what? Like, this is just who you are, and I'm going to treat you like a piece of shit because you're a piece of shit. So I think you just need to, because I think you're just trying to get him to be somebody that he's not. And even if that means, like, muting him on social media and all of that kind of stuff, like, I think you can, like,
she's blocked, so.
Yeah. So, but I just think, like, the more you can distance yourself from him too, because I do think that I think it probably does also feel a little weird for your boyfriend at that same time. And I'm sure there is a little bit of, like, tension there. And maybe that's also why your boyfriend's not bringing it up with him, is because, like, what if he's such a dick that he's going to be like, oh, well, yeah, like, she's only pissed because I rejected her and then she went to you. You know, like, I think it's just, like, I don't think you or your boyfriend like him.
He probably gives your boyfriend shit about that behind your back anyway. Yeah. Like, probably says stuff like that anyway.
But I don't think he's affecting your relationship with your boyfriend at all. I think all he's doing is digging himself in a grave and looking like a fucking idiot. And you and your boyfriend are both just handling it differently. I think you're trying to take action and he's just letting him like go on and on and on and just ignoring it.
Because maybe your boyfriend has said something and he said it and then he was like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. She is only with you because I rejected you.
And this also, like, not to promote my book, You're Not Special, but this might be like a You're Not Special kind of thing. This might just be like, this is how he fucking treats everybody. Like everybody is a piece of shit. And the same, that's also like, I'm repeating myself, but the same reason why your boyfriend doesn't necessarily feel like he needs to take a stand is because like you're not being singled out more than anybody else. Yeah. But
fuck this dude.
Fuck this dude. He's a fucking loser. So, and don't give him like that satisfaction or like time of day of like, obviously you're blocked, but if you didn't get blocked or all of that kind of stuff, just piece the fuck out. Yeah.
Pretty much my now boyfriend and I have been kind of seeing each other off and on for about 5 years. Back before we started college, he actually told me that he didn't want to officially date or anything and that he just wanted to be friends and hang out and fuck and be friends with benefits or whatever. This was really hard for me since I pretty much fell for this boy in high school, blah, blah, blah. But whatever. I ended up sleeping with someone else. He ended up asking me. It was fine. I thought it was whatever. And then recently, or about a month or two ago, I tried to reach out to him and like have that conversation, that commitment conversation, because we've been hanging out more. We've been like doing more things together. We do more coupley things now. And he kind of just blew it off and acted like it didn't matter. And so I was like, okay, so like it still stands. He doesn't really care if I see other people. That's fine, whatever. So this past month, I went and hung out at Central Michigan University with my friends, and I ended up hooking up with this guy, and I didn't think he would care at all. I get home, I tell him really casually just because I didn't think it would matter, and he blows up on me, and he's saying all these things like I have commitment issues, all this stuff. So, yeah, I don't really know what to do. I understand where he's coming from because if it was me in his situation, I would probably be really upset about it, but then again, we never really had that commitment talk, and he never really seemed like he was ready to 100% commit, so I thought we were just friends, fucking around once in a while. He is my best friend. I do really, really respect him, but he's never told me that he cares about me, and we are dating now because we have talked about being committed, but he still makes me kind of feel bad for what I've done, and it's only been a month since I did that, but he still makes me feel kind of guilty for it. So I don't really know what to do. I've been trying to understand where he's coming from. I would be pretty upset, but then again, like, I wouldn't be making him feel bad for it because we've never had that discussion. So if you guys have any recommendations or any advice, I definitely appreciate it. If I'm in the wrong, if he's in the wrong, we should just suck it up. If our relationship's gone, I don't know. I've always seen myself marrying him in the future, and I hope that we can figure it out, but I honestly think, like, if he can't get over this, this might just be a lost cause, and we're going to have to move on. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Bye.
This dude's a loser.
Yeah, you gave yourself your own advice at the end. If he can't get over it, you have to move on. That's it.
Yeah. I don't know. This is like gaslighty vibes to me because, like, such a stupid thing. Gaslighty vibes. Like, that's like a terrible Etsy t-shirt. I'm a Visco girl. But no, I just think like he's so clearly in the wrong here, and then to try and turn it on you, it's so manipulative, and the fact that you feel bad shows that he's succeeded in manipulating you, and I don't think...
And he's continuing to make her feel bad.
And I don't think that this is probably the only thing that, like, I think if you guys have been on and off again for 5 years and you keep going back to it, and it's like he hasn't wanted to commit it and all of that stuff, like, that's manipulation. Like, you should have been, like... If you had feelings, if it's not just a fuck buddy, it's just someone you have like actual romantic feelings for, and he's managed to keep you up and down for 5 years, you are in his grasp, 100%. Like, it is literally like he is calling all of the shots, and it's whatever he wants is going at this point. And then when as I always say, I'm a big fan. I take what things people say at face value. If you tell me you're cool, it's cool. If we're not exclusive, we're not exclusive. Like, I'm going to go do my thing. And then to have him turn around and be like so upset when literally you did nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong. And
you were actually honoring what he wanted.
Yeah, and you keep saying like, well, if the roles were reversed, I'm like, yeah, because you were the one who wanted commitment.
Yeah.
You were the one who wanted commitment. And if you had wanted commitment and then you went and then he went and slept with somebody else, like, yeah, that would hurt you. But he's the one who was like, no, I don't want to be committed. I don't want to be committed. And so it's like, okay, well, clearly you're the one who's way more in your feels. And the fact that he's going to be upset when you had slept with someone else, when he knows that you clearly have had more feelings for him this whole time than he's had for you. And he's going to be pissed for no reason other than that power and control stuff. Like he has no reason to feel insecure or anything like that because he was the one who called all of that shit.
Exactly.
And as somebody, and I think I've said this podcast before, when Monts and I started dating we started dating in 4 years, over 4 years
1992.
ago. That's a year before I was born. But we started dating in fall of whatever year, but it was October. We started like dating in October. I was insistent with him that I was like, I don't want to be exclusive. I don't want to be exclusive. And he was like, okay, cool. I would like to be that's where I'm at. And he's like, I'm not sleeping with anybody else. And I was like, okay, cool. I slept with someone like Halloween of that month that we were dating. And then Monts and I became...
Wait.
What?
Okay. I'm sorry.
Around Halloween.
I had it just behind... Nothing.
Halloween?
I had it behind in my head, like, that you guys had been exclusive, like you started to be exclusive in Halloween. I was like, Halloween is the last day of the month.
No. So I slept with somebody and I never really felt the need to tell him. And because it's none of his business, we weren't exclusive. And he knew I had gone out with this guy and all of that stuff. And he was like, no, I knew you definitely knew something happened. And then finally when he asked me at one point, he's like, hey, did you guys ever have sex? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay. And I was like, does that piss you off? And he was like, well, I mean, I have no
make me feel good.
Yeah, he's like, I mean, I have no right to feel upset. You didn't do anything wrong. And you told me and we agreed that we weren't exclusive. And he's like, and I'm dating you. So clearly I have nothing to worry about. And I was like, oh, wow. And it was one of those things that I was like, a part of me, I was obviously very much yeah, I'm not gonna tell you, it's none of your business. But then when he ends up asking, I'm like, well, yeah. And then he's like, yeah, why, how could I even be mad? Why? Even if it makes me feel a certain way, it's I have no right to be upset about this. And I was like, oh, true. Very, very true. And so I just think that that exists. It shouldn't be a big deal. And if you think of it in the sense The Bachelor, people fucking go on The Bachelor. The Bachelor picks a girl or a guy or Bachelor, Bachelorette. They've slept with other people before. They've been dating this whole time and those relationships can succeed. But holding something above your head that literally had nothing to do with your relationship and was everything to do with the precedent that he set is just hi, I get horny on fucking control and shit.
Right. And I wonder, also, did you, just offer up this information that you slept with the other person? Did he ask? Because if you just offered it up, were you just trying to get, a reaction out of him?
Which, I mean, yeah, that's what I would assume.
Yeah.
And also, if you're and I thought he wouldn't care and it'd be fine. I think also there's something like open relationships. I've had friends who've been in open relationships, and especially if they're in school, when they come home for Thanksgiving or talk, they're certain relationships, certain couples will be I don't need to know if you've made out with someone, but I do need to know if you've slept with somebody and all, or they don't want to know anything at that point. But you're friends with benefits, you don't owe each other any of that shit. And the idea that that also to me is a control thing about oh, and then I'm telling him about
this because I want to see if he gets jealous.
Yeah. Yeah.
To see if he has more feelings, which it kind of did work in your favor because then you guys talked about what you were after that, but now he's still holding it over your head. So what was...
No, that's load of bullshit. And also I think I think he's attracted to control, and I think he's also attracted to the drama. And I think when things aren't
you are
settled,
too a little bit.
Yeah, but I also think if things settle down and they're not this crazy, I think you're gonna be oh wow, he's a shit boyfriend, and he's not that great, and he doesn't I don't get that care and attention, and this kind of is this is it's gaslighting and love bombing sort of thing of being oh, I'm going to make you feel something's your fault and then we're going to be dating. So then there's a reward at the end of it. And it's just going to fuck with your head.
Yeah.
And if you guys were meant to be together and it was going to work, it would have already worked. You can't sleep with someone on and off for 5 years.
Yeah. And you're different people. You were in high school. Now you're in college. There's so much to be had and to be done in college when you don't have to be tied down to somebody, which you were doing, but now you were just had him waiting.
Yeah.
Or you were waiting for him. And it's just no, I feel you're just attracted to what could be and not what actually is.
And if this is someone you had a crush on in high school, oh my God, I understand that shit so well that you're you put them on this pedestal and it's oh, we never wrong time, wrong, like, will they, won't they, the one that got away, and then you finally get it, and it's not, it's so stagnant. It's literally like a former version of both of yourselves that you're attracted to and into, and you're not letting and like the idea of like, oh, I always thought we'd get married and all of that stuff. It's like,
you were 16, you thought you were going to marry this person.
Well, he's also never let you get over him, like, at all. Like, you've never even been able to, like, to have a clean break from this guy that you've always had feelings for. He's always put you on the back burner. And then finally, now that he's ready, it's like, oh, wow, he treats me like shit. Is he really ready? No, he's ready, quote unquote. And, like, you just need to date someone else and realize, like, oh, wow, all this, it won't be this hard. Like, all of this shit's not... That's just like a load of bullshit. And it just makes me like, it's just gross and like makes me so sad that you, I don't know, you obviously, you said you want to know if you're in the wrong or he's in the wrong, but like the fact that there's even a remote shred of your mind that you might have done, that he has a right to feel like this, and you keep putting yourself in his shoes. He's not doing that with you. He's just manipulating you and gaslighting you. And it's hard to know when you're being when that's happening to you, but like that's what's happening. It's like he's did something. He set this precedent. You listened to what he said, and that was wrong. But if you didn't listen to that would have also been wrong. Like, you can't win in this situation. Ugh, it's dumb.
It is.
And it's only a month in.
Yeah.
I'd
say get out.
Get the fuck out.
You don't need this.
No.
Go. You clearly were hooking up with a whole bunch of other dudes. Go experience that without having this guy in the back of your mind.
And it's going to take a while to get over him, but like that doesn't mean that he's the one.
Yeah.
Like if you still think about him for a while, like that still doesn't mean that like, oh, well, I'm still thinking about him, which means that he's so special. It's not. Like he had a huge role in your life and that's fine, but that can just be the role that he played. It doesn't mean ever, like you're going to have multiple people who will play a big role in your life, but like just because he played one doesn't mean he's going to be like the end game dude.
Yeah.
Ugh, I hate him.
Me too.
A lot.
What a terrible guy.
Yeah, what a shithead. What a fuck. And I just picture what he looks like. You know, he looks like the bully from Christmas Story all grown up. That's what he looks like in my head. What a dick. Yeah. Fuck this dude. I hate him. What about that other guy from that college?
Yeah.
What's he up to? Well, is it time for a break?
It is.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, guys, and we'll be right back. If there's something interfering with your happiness or preventing you from achieving your goals, BetterHelp Online Counseling can help. BetterHelp offers licensed professional counselors who are specialized in issues such as depression, anxiety, relationships, trauma, anger, family conflicts, LGBT matters, grief, self-esteem, and more. Connect with your professional counselor in a safe and private online environment and get help at your own time and at your own pace. Anything you share is confidential and it is so convenient. You can schedule secure video or phone sessions as well as chat and text with your therapist. But if for some reason you're not happy with your counselor, you can request a new one at any time for no additional charge. Best of all, it is a truly affordable option. Our listeners even get 10% off your first month with the discount code BLAME. So why not get started today? Go to betterhelp.com/blame, then simply fill out a questionnaire to help them assess your needs and get matched with a counselor you'll love. That's betterhelp.com/blame. Hello, everybody. Why am I saying hello?
Back.
We're back.
Yeah. Hi.
Let's keep going.
Hi. So basically, I'm 19, sophomore in college, and this is my first, I guess, official relationship. So basically, this guy and I, we were in the same friend group last year. So first semester, freshman year. The friend group fell apart, and then we didn't talk or anything for all of second semester. And now this semester, we kind of just bumped into each other on, like, literally on the street, and he said we should hang out. So a couple days after that, we hooked up. We just like made out because I'm paranoid of getting pregnant. And then we saw each other again. It was like on the street, and then we kind of just started hanging out a little more. And then we went to a party, and then he introduced me to his friends as his girlfriend. But like we never discussed it ever. And also he doesn't really like text me that much, but like he wants to hang out a lot. And like it's like I don't really have time. And it's like, so I don't know. I guess I'm just wondering, like, is it weird if I bring up the fact that we never discussed that we were, like, official and he just, like, said I was his girlfriend? I don't know if I'm just like overthinking things, but yeah, I guess like my question is, I guess like how and when should I bring up the whole like girlfriend topic? Because like we didn't really discuss it. So yeah, thanks. Okay, bye.
I don't want to age shame at all, and I know that I'm guilty of doing this. Which I like 16-year-old me is like, Maggie, why are you doing that? But like, I think like the narrative of, I think there's nothing, whatever, I'm gonna sound judgy. I don't think there's nothing more weenie than like the defining the relationship talk. To me, that's really young. That's really, really young. If you want it to be his girlfriend, who fucking cares? You don't need to have a conversation. Like, I think that whole defining the relationship stuff, like it's a lot, I don't know, when you are clearly both on the same page, I think it's just like a lot younger.
Yeah, I agree with you somewhat, but you should have the conversation about if you're exclusive or not exclusive.
Oh, yeah. If you're not.
And that's probably the thing. They haven't had that conversation. And for her, that means girlfriend or boyfriend.
Yeah. I also think it's, I don't know. For me, it's like same page sort of stuff. So I think I understand wanting to define the relationship and know if you're exclusive or not. If you're like, hey, I don't know what you're doing. But if you're like so clearly secure in the fact that like, you're hanging out all the time, like, you don't need it. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're on the same page so clearly, I think now you've kind of skipped ahead. You didn't have to have the conversation. Unless you're not okay with it, then, like, I don't know what you want out of the conversation. Do you know what I mean? Other than the fact that, like, love you. Maybe you're just a little corny. Maybe you just, like, want to hear him be like, I really like you. I think you're amazing. Like, will you be my girlfriend? Like, maybe you want that rom-com moment. In which case, like, sure, fine, ask for it. But like, I think like if it's not, I don't know, to me, it doesn't sound like you're worried or scared about anything. It just kind of seems like
you just want a definition of what your relationship is.
And maybe it's because you're used to have had that. And like, cause I think about like high school.
She said this is her first official relationship.
If you think about like in the timeline of high school relationships, even if your friends were going through them, you're not personally going through them. It's kind of like, oh, we're exclusive. Like, yeah, he asked me to be his girlfriend. Like, oh, he asked me to be his boyfriend. Like Monts and I, we were watching Love Island. Like, that's a big thing on there. They ask someone like, you are exclusive.
That's a different beast in itself.
But then boyfriend, girlfriend, we were talking about that. We're like, wow, I can't believe people, like, I forgot that people still like do that. Like, that's something that people do. But if it's important to you to like have that like sweet conversation, then go for it and talk to him about it. But otherwise, I think like if you're into him and you want to be his girlfriend and you're cool with it and you don't need that as a conversation, I don't think it's weird that you guys didn't have one. Yeah. I think he probably read you and you're like, okay, we're on the same page. We were already friends before. We don't need to go through all these these formalities and stuff like that. I see where you're at. You see where I'm at. And like, this is how it goes.
Yeah. I remember when I was in college and me and this guy were, we're on the same page. We've been friends for a while. Then we started hooking up. And I remember I was like in the bathroom and he was waiting outside the bathroom. And like these girls walked out and they were like, oh, you're being a creep. And he was like, no, like my girl's inside. And then it was like, oh, then that was the definition. We didn't need to have a conversation after that.
Yeah. I think it's super common. I think this is actually the most common way people as adults define the relationship is like, we get people calling in being like, I'm introducing him to my friends. What do I call him? Right. I think that's a moment in which you're like, oh, this is my boyfriend. Like I've definitely been in that where it's like, I'm dating someone and I'm like, I'm exclusive, but like, and then it's like, oh, hey, yeah, this is my girlfriend. And I'm like, cool, I'm your girlfriend now. Like, good to know. So I don't think it's a weird thing to have done without a conversation unless you really want a conversation, in which case, like, you already know he likes you. He already wants to be his girlfriend. You're not going to ruin it by asking like, hey, so like, I don't even know how you bring that up at that point, though.
I don't either.
Maybe
or you can just be like, hey, you introduced me to your friends as your girlfriend. So this is what we are now. Yeah. And that's it.
Or maybe just be like, hey, I'm kind of corny and all. And like, I know you like introduced me as your girlfriend, but like, I don't know, like, I'd love if you like asked me, like, it'd be sweet, like, blah, blah, blah. And then he can like spell it out in rose petals or something. Yeah. Just don't send us a picture because I'll projectile vomit. But it's sweet. I think it's sweet.
Especially this is her first time.
Oh, and also I think it's there are guys like this, there are girls, there are people who are just more sentimental like this and all of that stuff. And it just makes me so happy when those two people find each other, because then you know what I mean? Because I've dated people like that where I'm like, oh my God, I wish I could just pawn you off to my friend who would love this shit. And I think it's really sweet, because then there's other times where like girls are dating people who aren't like that and you feel like, oh, I really want that. So when you guys find each other, I think it's really happy. You're just like corny and popcorn. Sweet. Mm-hmm. Moms and I are the exact opposite.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Them. Yeah. No, but I think it is sweet. And also, like, of all of the calls of like issues to have, like, this is such a like it's a sweet one.
It's a sweet one. It's a wholesome one. It's a pure. Is that what they say?
Yeah, pure. Also, how do you listen to our podcast? You think we're just like cunts? Like,
no, she's like studying up. You got to study up for where you want to be.
It's true. Give her a couple years straight savage. Fucking bitch. She's like, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
Go down on me. Don't speak to me.
Yeah, because speaking of, you don't want to get pregnant. Just have them go down on you.
Yeah. Also, we've had calls about people who've been like paranoid about pregnancy and things like that. So you can go back and listen to any of those if you need to. But again, might I remind you, the only way to get pregnant is when you are ovulating. If semen gets inside your vagina from pre-cum or ejaculation, that's the only time that you're going to get pregnant. It also has to do with your ovulation. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't. I
talk to your doctor.
Yeah. But I think that like a healthy level of like nervousness to like not get pregnant is great. But like, don't worry if he's
if
like
you're horny. Yeah, have sex. If you want to have sex,
just use a condom.
Use a condom. Get on birth control. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got this down. Talk to your doctor though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Have them go down on you too. Mm-hmm. Speaking of down, I also just love the image of them bumping into each other on the street twice. I just see like literally, like very Hallmark movie.
He like knows her schedule.
Yeah. Also, like if you're friends, don't you know where each other lives? And also, you're in college. Is it technically bumping to each other on the street?
I was gonna say, were you guys like going to class and you have classes
on campus?
in the same direction or opposite directions and you cross each other. Okay.
So romantic. Well, congratulations on your boyfriend. Congratulations. Stop doing that. It's disgusting. And you're doing it so slow. I can't do it. I don't like it. No, stop it. Ew. Okay.
All right.
Should we go on to the next?
Yeah, the next one's going to be an update.
Oh my God. Y'all bitches love updates. Let's get it.
Hi, Meghan, Melissa, and guest. So I was a caller on Kelsey's episode. I'm that girl who had the friend that wants to fuck me and wear my skin. A detail that makes it even more like traumatizing to me that strangers acknowledged that she wanted to wear my skin is I haven't talked to her in 4 years and she is still going out in public and like saying mean things about me. It's been like up until this past couple months where she would just text me occasionally from new numbers, like once or twice a month, or she would make new social medias because I've already blocked her on all of them, and she would message me and like try to send friend requests, or she'd have whoever she's seeing at the moment message me. So that's another detail that I would like advice as to if now that she's like starting to interact with people I see in person and physically putting herself in places that I always hang out, do I confront her because she's been like kind of harassing me for 4 years? She schedules appointments at my brother's work to have him like do weird maintenance on his car. She gets her oil changed by him like once a month, and that's not routine. So I stopped talking to her like right after everything happened. Had like a month left with the fuckboy, like free coffee, free booze, and like decent sex. I would also have him go with me to other Tinder dates with other fuckboys and watch the confusion on his face. Like, if you're going to play a game with me, then we can just play a game together. So, yeah, I hope that maybe that adds another detail that it's been 4 years and she's still doing this. And I have been ignoring her this whole time, but I think it's getting worse. Thanks. Bye.
Okay. Just remember, she's not asking for advice. She just is giving us an update.
Okay.
This is weird. And it seems like you like drama too.
Yeah. Dude, what the fuck is up with the bringing the fuckboy on Tinder dates with you?
So he can see other fuckboys in action?
Those like, poor other dates.
Is he sitting with you at the table or is he like behind you listening in?
And also, like, that's so fucked for those other guys who are, like, putting themselves out there and going on a dating app. Like, if I was someone and then I go out with someone and then I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I was just going out with you because, like, I was proving to this other fuckboy and all that. Like, no one has to be.
That's a fuck girl move.
Yeah, don't involve anybody. If you want to be dramatic, don't involve other people who didn't ask for it. That's just like shitty. That's and mean. Also like karma, dude. This is why you're probably in this situation with this guy. Like you don't have to, you don't have to like, you don't have to get even with anybody. It's going to happen. And the more that you stoop to their level of that stuff, like shit's just going to keep happening to you. Like karma's going to bite you in the ass for that. And it's going to bite them too. But like, you didn't need to have a hand in like, you know, being like, haha, see sort of a thing. Also, like that's
you're just using people for your own amusement.
Yeah, and that's igniting for him. No wonder he keeps doing this shit with you because like you're doing it to each other.
You like it. Yeah. You're not any better than he is.
That's so. But you're not. You said you guys aren't even dating anymore. That's done. Wow. I don't know.
She doesn't want advice. She's just updating us on her life. So you know, I mean, like.
I mean, she did say she doesn't know if she should confront her or not.
That's true. I mean, if she wants to keep wasting your money at your brother's place, then whatever. Like, let her keep giving money.
Yeah,
it's been 4 years, so like,
talking shit doesn't. That's what I mean. Like, talking shit doesn't necessarily like it makes someone look dumb, but it doesn't cause harm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're like, if it's weeding out your friends, then good. They were shitty friends to be like, they weren't your friends to begin with. Mm-hmm. But I just think that like, I don't know. There's also a part of me that. Like, it just seems odd to me that, like, she's gotten no response and this still keeps happening after 4 years. And you keep saying, like, oh, yeah, and she'll get a new number and she'll, like, does she say it's her or are you responding and then realizing it's her and all of that kind of stuff? That it just seems so odd. And also at the end of the day, if she's, like, if you feel like you said that she's essentially harassing you, if it gets to a point, you can get a restraining order.
Yeah, you can. Every time she sends you a message or does anything, just print it out and have a file on her and give it to the police.
Yeah, and you've already had that like cut off conversation with her. And having it again does nothing.
No,
and no lawyer's ever going to advise you to be like, yeah, confront them. Like, just don't. I say keep ignoring it. And if anything, it should like 4 years. Obviously, you would think that the girl would be done with it, but I would also think that like you'd probably care a little bit less. You know, I think like there's some part of you that is still a little bit invested in this, and even if that means telling your brother, be like, "Yo, don't tell me when she comes. Like, I don't need to know." Or if you want to get a new coffee shop, but like, why do you know she goes to all of these places?
Right.
I would like you need to.
She was showing up at her work before, so
yeah. But I think if like a certain things, if you're not seeing, if she's purposely running into you, like ignore, and then if it's getting a new coffee shop, get a new coffee shop.
Yeah, and don't block her. She's probably like following you or whatever, knowing where you go. It's like it's a movie. With the girl from Parks and Aubrey Plaza when she stalks.
Ingrid Goes West.
Yeah, where she like knows where she's going because she stalks her Instagram and then goes to the same places.
Yeah, make your Instagram private. That should really you just make it private so then she can't like follow you and re-add you and all that stuff and like don't accept her. I just would just say like,
or when you go places, don't post when you're there. Post like 2 days later. If you want to post.
And also, if she shows up, what's the worst thing that happens? It's then annoying.
And it's in public, and then you have other witnesses, and then that just helps your case even more.
Yeah, but I just think that, like, don't do anything. There's nothing you can, it's been 4 years, there's literally nothing you can say that she's going to be like, oh, wow, yeah, I'm not going to do this again. Like, you have no power at this point, so just, like.
Your power is saying nothing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's, like, something that it's going to probably piss her off more. And also it's just not your problem. And yeah, if it gets to a certain point, like those are the levels it's at. You know what I mean? Like it either needs to not, it's neither a nuisance, but like, who cares? Get like, I don't want to say like be a bitch and be like, get over it. But like, yeah, like deal with it. Or it's such a level that you can get a restraining order. Like that in between place is just like, don't be invested in it.
Yeah.
Because it's just, just not worth your time. And also, don't be mean to, like, those guys that you went on dates with.
That's terrible.
That's really fucked up. And I think, like, I would also apologize to the fuckboy, too, because I don't, like, fuckboys aren't like the devil. Like that's something that like someone who's like treating you like shit in a relationship like doesn't deserve to be treated like shit back. I think like if you can show compassion there and apologize, hope like maybe he can see that when he dates other people. But I think like giving someone a taste of their own medicine is like such a slippery slope of like then you just kind of end up being a bad person too. And it's and then you're judging someone for treating you like shit and then you're treating them like shit and then expecting them to not treat you badly is just not a good time.
Yeah.
Poor other dates. You should go out with those guys that you did that with. You should go out with them again and apologize.
Apology tour.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well, your life sounds exhausting.
It does.
So dramatic.
All right. On to Don't Blame Them.
Woohoo! Time for Don't Blame Them. This is where you guys call in with your own advice on previous episodes. So what do we have today?
I'll just play it.
Okay.
Hi, ladies. All right. So I had to pause the most recent M&M for November with the call with the girl with all the gossip girl melodies. I just have to add in my 2 cents because I was getting kind of mad. So the guy that is apparently weird, do you think he's weird because everybody else thinks he's weird? Or are you coming to that conclusion on your own? Because it seems like you care more about what other people think of you than how people are treating you. And honestly, if you're going to treat people like that, then nobody's going to want to be around you. I'm sorry. Like, I got really mad listening to this, and granted, I'm a 24, 25-year-old woman, so, like, I have a few more years under my belt than this girl does. But, like, honey, don't give a shit if people think the people that you spend your time with are weird, because everybody's weird. Everybody does freaky shit behind closed doors, and honestly, if you're not interested in him sexually or attraction-wise, then that's fine. But if you're more concerned about what other people would think of you for dating him, then honestly, shame on you because it's a waste of your time to worry about their opinion. So give people a chance beyond what people think of them. But other than that, you do you and enjoy your last semester. All right, thanks. Bye-bye.
I love you.
Love you, dude. Wow. I love when people call in with this part of advice that is like, you know, the shit that I don't know, the more like pared down, like bitchy shit of what we've said and not so many or in so many words. You know what I mean? Like we're all on the same page, dude.
Love it.
But it is such an age thing. Like when I think about that to like the people that, or even not even necessarily like person to person, but I remember in high school, like prom was the only dance that you went to with a date. The only dance.
Really?
Yeah. And so freshman year, or unless it was, we
Homecoming?
No days to homecoming, but MORP, which was like backwards prom or whatever. And it was like Sadie Hawkins. So girls would ask the guys, but it was mostly like friends. Like I went with like my like gay best friend. Like it was like it was I don't know. It was more, you dressed weird. Like it was like a fun thing. You didn't really want to go with a guy you had a crush on because you were going to probably wear a really weird costume. But I remember freshman year, this boy asked me, I can say his full name. We're still friends on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram.
I'll still bleep it.
Okay, I won't say it then. But he asked me to homecoming and I was like, oh, that's so weird. But like, I liked him. Like I had a crush on him at school and I thought he was like really cool. I liked him, but it just wasn't a thing that people did. And I didn't go with him. And like, we never ended up like being a thing or dating. And like, I always think back to like how stupid and dumb that was that I let this guy that I like, who clearly was interested in me, I literally turned him down because I was like, oh no, that's weird. Everyone else is going to think that's weird.
I did the same thing.
And it's so dumb, but I get it that age. It's so important. Like you find it so important what people think about you and like how to be perceived. And you don't want to be like, you want to fit in so badly. You don't want to do anything that makes you like stand out in a way that could be negative. But it's sad and sucky. So I gave him like 5 name shout outs in my book about like, and he was always really cute. He's like hot now. Like,
see, everybody that I had crushes on in high school that were hot then are not hot anymore.
But that was the thing. He wasn't like hot in high school. Yeah. He was cute. He was like, really cute, but he wasn't like it. But now I'm like, damn. So I give him a lot of shout outs in the book. And I'm like, I think he's single. Everyone hit him up, slide into his DMs. I don't know what he's like as a person now. I think he's probably still really funny and nice. But yeah, it's just sad when you care that much about like what people think. It's lame.
It is. very much so.
Yeah. And I also just, again, there's something about that prep school, like rich kid thing. And then like someone who's weird, because like in my mind, like at least in my high school was pretty it was pretty offbeat. Like it was like hipstery and like indie sort of thing. But there was like a popular group for everybody. Like there was a space for everybody. But at prep school, that vibe to me is just like there's this. And if you're not this, you're nobody. And you don't have like a subgroup or something like that. And it's just like the poor dude.
Yeah. And everybody was into him before.
Yeah.
And then it probably was just one person that said that something was weird, that he listened to weird music. And then that changed everything.
And usually that shit, maybe it's a guy that like used to like that girl who's then like, yeah, no, he's fucking weird.
And it was probably, you know what it was? It was probably somebody that did like him and then asked him out and he was like, no, I'm already seeing somebody. And then she doesn't want to be that girl that everybody found out about.
No, it's just, if someone like turns you down, then suddenly it's, oh, they're gross and they're weird. It's just like not, I don't know, not
it's
nice.
Not cool. Be cool.
Be cool. And you know all of those kids are going to go to like some like yuppie private college
they've already
too.
Been bought into it by their parents.
That's true. Did you see?
Their alumni.
Love this girl with an update. I want you to like call in with advice that you need because you seem cool, but like you feel like you don't need us.
Yeah,
like you seem like you got your fucking shit together.
That's the episode.
That's the episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to be on an upcoming episode, you can give us a call at 310-694-0976. And international listeners, you can send us an audio message at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on Instagram, Don't Blame Meme Pod. Check out our exclusive private Facebook group. We've got some questions for you to answer just to like, you know, weed out anyone who isn't actually a fan of the podcast. And if you listen occasionally, you're probably not going to get like, then no, this isn't for you.
This is for people that actually like want to build a community, be a part of it by participating.
Yes. And like if people who like are open enough to call into the podcast and all of that stuff, like if you've been an active person in that sense, where like you're willing to like, put yourself out there and get some advice, this is the group for everybody who's there. Not just if you're like, just like to like, you know?
Yeah. It's not just for people that are just there to
get more gossip.
Read. Yeah. So
if you're just going to read other people's shit and like you're not going to like put yourself out there, that's not the point. Yeah.
So if you don't answer the questions, you're not going to get accepted. Yeah. Just so you know.
So just saying. Follow us on Instagram. It's a good time. Our individual ones, everything's linked down below. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want to find out where to listen to the podcast version, you can go to don'tblameme.show. Also iTunes, Spotify, all that kind of stuff. And if you guys are watching, if you're listening, go check it out on YouTube. Watch the video version. And
that's it.
That's it. We'll see you guys next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
We usually say it together.
Do I say it again?
No.
Goodbye. Come on. 1, 2.
Goodbye.
Whatever struggles you're facing, from depression and anxiety to trauma and grief, BetterHelp can connect you with a professional counselor in a safe and private online environment. It's so convenient. You can schedule secure video or phone sessions, as well as chat and text with your therapist. And anything you share is completely confidential. Best of all, it is a truly affordable option. Our listeners even get 10% off your first month with the discount code BLAME. So why not get started? Simply go to betterhelp.com/blame and fill out a questionnaire to get matched with a counselor you'll love today.